Right, we have a lot, or quite a few of these chairs. So they are a vinyl, but they're not damaged as such. I just don't like them. The frames are chrome, but they have pitted and rusted in places. I think I've got about 8 of those chairs. Got these stools as well. Now, I've been playing with some chalk paint. Now, I tried one yesterday and I did that, but it didn't quite take there. I think it's because I didn't quite let the chalk paint dry and then put another coat on. It just didn't stick to the chrome. So I think what I'm going to do anyway is probably lightly sand the chrome anyway, and see if that helps, even though you don't really need to sand if you're putting chalk paint on, but it'll probably just adhere to it better. Now this one has been painted and it's been waxed. Now I don't know, I have heard, you know, that you can paint on material, on fabric and that, so I just want to see how that wears. I mean, it's not cracking because I did water the paint down, so hopefully that will be all right. But I'm going to experiment with loads of different colours. I don't care if they're all random colours, but they're the only colours I've got at the moment. Now it's not Annie Sloan paint because that's what I used to use in the UK. Just can't get that here. It's Rust-Oleum chalky finish. You can get that from a few of the DIY stores in Portugal, but the colour range isn't great, so I shall mix some and see what happens. But first of all, I'm going to strip the chair down, wash it down with warm water, lightly sand the chrome, and then I'll paint. I'm not going to video it because it's like watching paint dry. So I've been playing about with the chalk paints. Now I've now finished. Oh, that was the one I'd done a couple of days ago. It's gone a little bit patchy, which I didn't notice until I started waxing it. So I should have picked up on that beforehand. But yeah, the chrome, I showed you the chrome wasn't adhering to the chrome on that. So played around with some colours. Now the heat in here was probably a bit too warm, so I tried to do an ombre, starting dark, going lighter, but the paint was drying too quick for me to blend it, so I ended up just leaving it like that. Don't like it, so I get painted over. That hasn't been sat on. I think I probably sat on that once. That one's not cracking. But one that I was sat on all day yesterday. Now that looks quite pristine. That turned out all right. But this has cracked and it's flaking. Now I'm trying to think of the reasons why. I'm not, you know, if it's painting on a flexible surface, to me it's not going to work, but they say it does. Now I don't know if my paint was too thick, even though I do water it down quite a bit. I don't know if it was too thick, or I was putting on thicker coats, or whether it was drying too quick, or I wasn't letting it dry enough in between coats. So yeah, not happy with that. So what I might do, I'll sand all that off. It won't take long to come off. It's a shame because the colour actually brightened up the living area where we were. They're the only 3 I've done. I don't know whether to actually give that a sand down and just take that shiny surface off. But I've got nothing to lose. At the end of the day, if it doesn't work, I can just buy some material, some fabric, and cover those. It's not really costing me much money with the chalk paint because you water it down quite a bit. So that was, didn't mix that colour with anything, that was as it was. That was a charcoal with And then there was that blue I've got, and then that light blue. Now that was 2 colours mixed. I can't remember what 2 colours I mixed for that. So I just sort of slap it all in. Now another thing I have learnt is when I take all these bits off the chairs, because you've got that, the seat, the back, and then there's also this back panel to come off. Now, when I first took them off, I did keep, for example, all those 3 for that one chair together. Same with that. But then as I was playing about, I ended up mixing the bits, and when it came to putting them back together, the back only fits onto that chair, and that, you know, for some reason, you know, they're years old and they've just literally been made to fit that particular frame. So when I was putting them back on, and this is why I'm going to end up repainting, the back I'd done for the blue one only fits on the back of the other one. So I've learned from that. So let's keep it all together. Yeah, so I'm going to play about again, but didn't quite go as planned, but killed a few hours. But it's looking at what the colours are like. But what I am disappointed with that though, so if anybody's got any suggestions what it could be, I think it is a multitude of things really. I've painted solid wood chairs before and it's fine. It's just, to me, flexing. When paint flexes, it's going to crack. I don't know. I'll sand it down, start again. We shall see. Might be a few weeks before I do it. But I'll let you know what I've done.